Welcome back. That is how long it took me to take both cowls off. Not too bad. I mean, I didn't like rush it or race. That's just kind of grabbing the screwdriver, undoing all the screws and the quarter turns and taking it off. So yeah, can you believe it? He's still futzing with the cowl. Yes and no. I got to do the paint gaps. Cowl is done. I spent the last few days trimming this section out for the exhaust. It's not 100%, but that's where it's going to stay for test flight. And that'll determine if we do a trip lip and what have you. I did end up putting the rubber fuel hose on these. If you remember, I had these straight or just solid, and hoping that the cushion clamp will absorb most of the vibration. But I decided to do that. I had some comments on it, so yeah, it makes sense. There's probably a reason they tell you to do it. So I did that. Again, I used the crimp clamps instead of the hose clamps. I also trimmed this, so the factory thing goes to here. I just took maybe half of that 45 off, and it actually fits, you know, within an inch into that outlet, which I also opened up a little bit. So I think, you know, they have you put these long tongs with the floppy silicone on it. I'm just going to see if I can tighten that up a little bit, make it a little neater. This thing's on and off, so I haven't put the alternate air on. And what else did I do? I think I did something else in there. Can't remember. Oh yeah, so I started playing with these things. These the cowl scoops from Aerosports, and they need to go into the upper cowl, but honestly kind of forgot about them. So I moved on to back to the interior, my Gucci interior. And I'm trying to kind of had this idea of making some kind of finishing panel here. So the dash kind of comes down to where the stiffener is, but below that, I think I'm going to use this piece of plastic, which can slide in from the other side behind there. And then, I remember I'd ordered a bunch of these off of Amazon. So I took one and I dissected it, and I bent the corner so the rubber band from here to here is about the same distance to down here. And the idea is basically to be able to take the flexible plastic thing, covered in Alcantara, slide it into the back, and then I'm actually going to put T-nuts from the back because I don't want anything sharp, you know, pointing this way if you hit it accidentally. And the T-nuts will go from the back side, basically mounted backwards, melted into the plastic, and then you can put very short screws to hold this in. But this lip here will also help the plastic from falling behind here, which it tends to do. And then I drilled this little rivet hole out so it kind of locks in there. So basically there's no fasteners. The thing just slides in behind it, and then you screw the pocket on, and then obviously you have the benefit of one more place to put stuff, and but more importantly, it actually keeps it from folding down. And then behind it, I might do some thinner padding just so it's, you know, there's no chance of anything banging to the outside. So anyway, that's the project. Oh yeah, and I want to make a little thing that clips onto here just to kind of break it up or continue this up, that you can put like a pen or something. Yeah, the mind, the creativity keeps going. I gotta start flying this thing. All right, here's what I came up with. This is basically 1/16 plastic, lightweight, flimsy, no structural integrity whatsoever. This is cut so it fits into the side panel I'm using as a template, you know, right side and left side. And they're both pretty similar. This is the little cutout for the rivet I was talking about. This, I think I talked about this already. This used to be square. I heated this and kind of just bent it in, so the distance for the elastic band that comes in it, that's the net that comes in it, and it's held into the backside with, you know, it's weaved in and out of this metal clip that kind of locks in there. So now I got this shape. This sits underneath the tube structure in there, and so this will be the driver's side. And I basically just took some T-nuts. These I just hammered in when I do it on the real piece. I'm gonna actually heat them up so it doesn't distort the plastic, melt them through, and then grind the tongs off. So then that'll be that piece, and you will feed that from the brake line into it. And then here, this was actually a little bit tricky because I wanted something to bolt into, but I didn't want it to protrude on the other side so it can put potentially dents, outies, you know, from the inside out. And this actually worked out pretty good. These have like these little spacers that you're supposed to bolt in, but they're pretty beefy, so I actually drilled them out big enough for the head of the T-nut to fit into. So this does two things. When you're like struggling in the kick panel and trying to get, you know, these, what, 6 screws to line up, you can literally just kind of like clip it on and push it on, and it will kind of lock into place. And then you use 3/8 8 32nd screws, and they're pretty much self-centered because those things locked into the back of it. And again, once that is in, this will give it the rigidity and keep it from sliding below the other panel, and it locks itself in place. That's the end of it. And this will be covered in Alcantara, and then this just bolts on front of it, and I think it's pretty cool. So time to cut the rail piece. Alright, so I get these things sanded down just so the glue sticks to them. I can write on them and work with them. Then I took, the holes are the exact size of the T-nut shaft, and then I chamfered the back because there's a little radius on that. And now what I've been doing is I basically just thread them in just a tiny little bit, heat them just a tiny little bit, and then stick them in just enough to melt the prongs through. Doesn't take much at all, especially on this thin plastic. And oh, it's even a little too hot. This is MAP gas, so it's hotter than propane, so you really don't need much at all. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's see, melts it through. Pull that off. Push it flush. And again, this will give me, well, that's for the other side, but this will give me the thing that this like locks onto, and then you put a screw in it. Done. Once I got all those in, I just sanded off the little part that sticks out, and the protrusion there goes right into, I don't know if you can tell, but the back part here that I drilled out. So you can literally just click it on, and obviously once you put these 3/8 pan heads in there, that'll be tight. This is what it looks like inside the plane. Pretty cool. So there's going to be Alcantara on here, and there's going to be very thin dyno liner on the back side, just for more insulation and to keep it from moving. Right now it's still loose because obviously no materials on it, but it'll be a nice place to put something if you have to, and cleans up the interior. But another late night. Going to bed. Good night. cell phone holder. Just made me think of something. Wireless charging while you're flying. I really need to go to bed. Back to the side panels. Basically, just kind of lined them up like this. A little bit of tape, a little bit of stretchy. And put them right about there. Then I gotta take this thing and feed it all the way through again. Those are looking good. Time to cover these pieces. So this is the leftover Alcantara I had from the rest of the interior. Pretty cool design where they kind of lock in without even screws. I used a soldering iron, just poked a hole, burned these things through so they're flat on the back. Then I also ended up, haven't painted this yet, but I just put a little cap on it. That's the part I chopped off. Kind of looks like that. You won't see it, it'll be underneath that bar, but I just wanted it finished anyway. It also helps keep this metal rod in. And the other thing I did, I just put a little bit of glue to hold the little netting off of the holes just to make it easier when you're struggling in the kick panel to put it in. Let's put it in. So you kind of swing it around. There's a little cutout here for the that rivet. Flex that. I know eventually there'll be more cables there. It looks nice. One, two. There we go. All right. This one's a little tricky, I gotta get in. I could use an angle screwdriver, but yeah, I really like it. I'm gonna put a little thing up there just to keep it from pulling out, but good place to put your emergency checklist. There you go. Slide them in, have them handy. Hopefully you'll never need, well, you can use your regular checklist too. But I got black ones coming, 3/8. So yeah, happy with that. Remember how I had this issue with this like being loose if you pull on it, you know, like it just kind of sits in there. I came up with an ingenious idea. Piece of plastic, HDPE, that I basically cut 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch with a slot out of it. Slide that in there, and not only does it hold that in, so it's nice and tight now, but it actually adds a little bit of resistance onto the outside of the plane to maybe help stabilize that. I'm gonna take it out, and loose again. I thought that was pretty cool and simple. Let's see what we can do with that space. I have a thought. Remember that piece of plastic I had that I was using as a template for the side panels with little pockets? I already repurposed it. Cut a couple of pieces, let's glue them together. Got another piece, more glue. Here we go. So these side pieces, the legs that grab the, sorry I can't do this with one hand, the actual console, those are 2 pieces of 16th glued together, one that goes all the way to the top and one that underlaps it. Those 2 I actually glued together, not with super glue but with acetone, just because it was such a big area and it's easier to take a little bottle, squirt some acetone in there and then just sandwich it, and that'll be rock solid. There it is. This contours the back of the rounded part of the console. The front is just a random design. The roundness kind of goes with the roundness of the center console there. And this is literally like super lightweight, doesn't weigh anything. Clips right on. Needs to be painted. I'm going to paint the bottom with a textured paint, like a truck bed liner paint that gives it a little bit of grip. I mean, it's already on there pretty tight, it's not going to go anywhere. And then the inside will be a satin black finish like this. And then that'll be a great place to put, like, I don't know, change for a parking meter or toll ticket or whatever, you know, you need to put in your airplane. So with that, more useless stuff. I hope you like it. And probably end this video here. Trying to remember everything that we did. Thank you for watching, and happy building. See ya. Happy New Year.